another edition of Sideline-to-Sideline with Ryan and Chuck. I am your co-host, Ryan Fleming, and bringing the rest of the sports to us is the one and only Mr. Chuck LaFleur.
Nice hat, by the way, Ryan Fleming. I got it. Minnesota Vikings.
Thank you. Yes, I do like to choose all the underdogs in every sports league. Well, that is why I'm everyone's fan favorite.
That's apparent by your lid. And everyone's fan favorite. Boy, we have quite a show lined up today for Sideline to Sideline. You and I first met doing wrestling commentary for Crossfire Wrestling, and it is a blast. It's so much fun, and the athleticism that you get to see and meet some of the performers, some of the wrestlers. We have, I don't know if we could introduce him as maybe the Vince McMahon of Niagara. Would that be an appropriate
The Vince McMahon probably works. The Ted Turner, maybe. Ted Turner.
Without Jane Fonda.
Without Jane, no. But we got the one and only, the owner, CEO, and Vince McMahon of Crossfire Wrestling, and that is Chris Laplante. Chris Go Time Laplante. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Chris, no longer in the ring, but of course, he has done wonders. Chris, what's made Crossfire so successful? You guys consistently fantastic shows, very entertaining, and great crowds on hand. What's been the secret to your success over the years?
Honestly, I believe it's hard work, dedication, bringing in the right talent, good talent. People will actually want to come and believe and be entertained. Like if you have a guy like a Cody Deaner, they want to pay to see a Cody Deaner, a Congo Kong. Even a manager, infamous Jay Moore, like people want to see something where you get offered a little bit of everything.
Infamous Jay Moore coffee mug here. They're $1.99, I think.
$1.99?
Retailers everywhere right
I figured
now.
At least we had the dollar store tops.
That is a deal at $1.99. Those could easily go for $10.50. I'm telling you right now, he's got the fan base for it.
That should say putts underneath that. I'm sure Patrick Porter will agree with that.
It definitely should, absolutely. Now, how did you get involved with, first off, with promoting, and then we want to talk about your wrestling career too, but how did it all come about to you to form Crossfire, and how long has it been up and running?
We started Crossfire Wrestling in 2011. I actually was just approached by the St. Catharines Flea Market to put on a show. They saw me wrestle at a show, and they asked if I ever wanted to promote or just put something on because they want to try and get some other people there on their Sundays to their other vendors that they have there. I said, sure, I'll try it. And then next thing you know, a one-time thing turned into almost 8 years now.
Wow.
Oh, huge time. Now, what are some of the obstacles of trying to run an independent wrestling promotion like this?
Oh, wow. One, you need to sell tickets for the fans to come to the show. You do try to get some sponsorships to try and help ease into that to help with the costs. When you're booking talent, sometimes they cancel as well. So there's a lot of changes that have to be made within sometimes the day of the show.
Right.
Like we call somebody or somebody shows up and they bring their gear. It's kind of like the old tradition of a wrestler. If you want to get on a show, you bring your bag.
Now, you mentioned booking talent. How does that work? Like, where do you find the talent? Do they come to you? Do you reach out to them?
It's a little bit of both. Like, I was fortunate to wrestle for 15 years, so I've made some friends over the years and also got to see some great talents as well. And also people of the newer generation I don't know, they contact me as well.
Right.
And when I do have some time, I actually try and scout some shows. Like I have a list of a couple people. If I see, okay, this looks like an interesting fit or whatnot, I'll go out there. I prefer seeing it live instead of watching it on video, just because you can actually see it, how the movement goes, see if they're smooth or not.
Right. And wrestling's probably the hottest it's ever been, especially independent wrestling. What do you attribute that to right now?
Honestly, I think people are tired of watching the same stuff on television. They want to see wrestling.
Right.
And other people prefer like the higher, maybe violent kind of wrestling. Other people still prefer the family-based values of what we have. Like I like having a family with kids coming to the show because it's kind of like what we grew up on, watching like the 80s style of professional wrestling.
Yeah, we should point out too to any fans who haven't been to a Crossfire show, you're not going to see a whole lot of blood and gore at a Crossfire Wrestling show.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. But it's for the most part, we prefer. I want the guys and the girls to show their craft and show their talents, what they can do in the ring, whether it be aerial, whether it be mat wrestling, chain wrestling, psychology, like I said, a little bit of everything.
Nice. Now, when it comes to the business and when it comes to talent, especially, how much do you embark on the new wrestlers of your personal knowledge? Like when it comes to matches, how much input do you have?
One thing I do is I'm very open for ideas, listening to how can we make this match the best possible way instead of it's not just my way. You got to do it this way. That's it. No, like we all talk. we go over certain ideas and try and implement it so it works for everybody. Right. I want to get everybody to show, like I said, what they can do in the ring, and let the fans be entertained, and the fans can decide. I really like this person. This might not be for me, but you give them their opportunity.
We want to get more into the Crossfire roster that you currently have, which is phenomenal. But I want to touch base too, Ryan, first off, on Chris's wrestling career. How old were you? What got you into it, for starters? How old were you? And do you remember any details of your first match?
When I first started training, I was 24. I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 6 years old. Like, I remember my dad said, "Here, watch this with me, Christopher. Hulk Hogan's on there. Macho Man." Like, the guys that I grew up, they were my guys growing up as a kid. And I ran into a local wrestler named Chuck the Butcher Simpson.
Sure.
He's Welland's own. I saw him at G&M Fitness. I was working out because in my mind I wanted to do it, but I didn't really know how. Like, do I find a school? Was there any trainers? And I knew who he was because I remember watching him on television. So I approached him to see if he even trained people. And he brushed me off for a while. I was 175 pounds. I was a skinny kid, not in shape. And he says, "Why don't you work out for about a year or so, then come back. Talk to me, then we'll see." So I
there's
did
a
go
lot of training involved before you actually step in the ring.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you have to be in shape for wrestling. Like, if you're like a 400-pound out of shape guy and they drill you and drill you and drill you, you're not going to last very long because you need the cardio and the stamina.
Right. So you're saying it's not for me then?
It could be for you if you put the time in. I know anybody can do it as long if you really, really have it mentally saying, "I want to do this," and you're going to do what you need to do to get in there to do it.
Now, your first match, where and who's the opponent?
Magnus Van Steel was my first opponent. It was at the Welland Fairgrounds in the bleachers, the grandstand, and he beat me up for about 5 minutes. It was just basically testing you to see if you can take it. If you can take it, like, you need to take, your body gets beat up in matches. I know people look at it, it's fake, it's predetermined, whatever they want to say, but in the end, you have to be in shape. You have to be physically tough to take the pounding and the beating that you are going to endure in the matches.
What now? Speaking of the beatings that you take, what is the hardest thing to take in wrestling? Now, I've heard different wrestlers say taking a bump is the hardest thing, which is just the falling backwards on your back or a front face bump. And I've heard others say, it could be a chop, but I've heard most people say it's the ropes.
Oh, when I first started training, I had huge bruise marks all on my back. Like when you're running off the rope for the first time,
right?
You have like the wire underneath with the covers, right? So when you're going in, okay, this isn't so bad. So you do it a couple of times, you feel like the sharp pain. And then the next day, I had like a bunch of black bruises on me. It was like, wow, like, who'd ever thought that you can get it from that?
I know, obviously, with Crossfire Wrestling, anytime Ryan and I have seen you in the ring locally here in Niagara, you've been a fan favorite. The fans just love Go Time Chris Laplante. But were you ever on the other side of the coin where the fans maybe weren't all that crazy about you?
Locally, I'm pretty fortunate to be the babyface down this way. Like, I have family, I have friends. It's a tough sell to get people to not cheer for you. But when I was out in Michigan before, I was a heel out down there, right in the heart of Detroit. Wore my Montreal Canadiens jersey.
That'll do it.
And they weren't taking too kindly for that there. And like I said earlier, before we talked, with No Class Bobby Bass, a good friend of mine, managed me. And he cut a promo where at Stogies or Bogies, it was called in Montreal. And they were throwing bottles at us.
Guys, we're just about out of time, believe it or not, on this initial edition of Sideline-to-Sideline. And I know, Ryan, you attended a wrestling camp sort of not that long ago.
I went to Tyson Dukes, who is a former Crossfire Wrestling champion, I think, actually. Or he's been with Crossfire as well. He has his own school, the Dukes Wrestling Academy, a wrestling factory in London. And I had the opportunity to go up there, interview him and a few of his students, which we're going to be able to show in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's coming up on a future episode. And while you were there, Tyson gave you, was it a chop?
I'm a pretty muscular dude. I could take these chops with no problem at all.
Oh, is that so? We have a guy in studio with us at Sideline-to-Sideline who might just be able to give you another test.
Right.
He
doesn't need to have another one of those.
We all know that he's retired as well,
Chris, could you do a retirement for once for Ryan Fleming here, just for a few minutes?
Listen, I just got to say, if you want to put your money where your mouth is, I'm sure that your chop has nothing on what Tyson Dukes just did.
Let's see about that.
I'm sure it doesn't, but to get a free shot in on somebody that's a Vikings fan, I'm sure it's going to turn people away, right?
Oh, that's it.
All right.
All right. So Ryan Fleming here, and I've put the challenge out to Chris Go Time Laplante. He thinks he can chop a little bit harder than Tyson Dukes.
I never once said that.
Yes, Tyson, he did. I want to see the chop challenge. But because of that, I've prepared to try them both. So at your leisure, Mr. Go Time.
All right, you sure?
It's go time.
It's go time. Not much there. Oh, that didn't record. Can we do that one more time?
Try that one more time without the face. You can do it. Go ahead. I'm ready.
All right.
This is what we do for your fans.
Oh, I guess I just know.
Okay, perfect.
Matching set.
I can't wait to have two. Go ahead. We felt that one a little bit. Thank you. Then, I gotta say,
No problem.
I gotta say, you and Tyson both do that very well, and we'll show the handprints later. For Giant TV, Ryan Fleming with Chris Go Time Apply, another edition of Sideline to Sideline.